This next session is a very important one, and we're going to pause here for a few minutes. Asking and receiving tough questions. It is normal and healthy for us to ask tough questions. And it's also normal for someone else to ask you tough questions. Especially if you're a parent. We're all in different seasons of our life with children, younger, older, some married off, we're different. It's normal for your son and daughter at different ages and stages of life to ask the question, why? Why can't I go there? Why can't I do that? Why? You're like, oh, goodness, Lord, give me enough patience. It's normal. Your position as a parent, and it's normal for your child to ask you certain questions. Let's reverse the roles. I'm a parent. I'm asking you questions. Where did you go? What did you do? Why are you late? See what I mean? It's normal. And what will the teenager do? I did nothing. What's that smell? Nothing. You know what I mean? So, as much as it's normal in everyday life for us to ask questions and to us receive questions, this is a very crucial aspect for us to understand leadership. Why? Let's dive in. Jesus told great stories and Jesus asked questions. Watch this next point. Jesus asked around 340 questions. You may say, Stan, how in the world do you know that number? Not too long ago, somebody gifted me with a book, and it's called Jesus Asking Great Questions. In it has 340 questions. Like, no, he didn't. And then at the end of the book, they have every Bible verse that Jesus asked questions. And when I looked through them and counted them, I'm like, wow. Jesus asked a ton of questions. We read the Bible, and Jesus asked them this, and we let like it's nothing. But this author did their study, and they're like, Jesus asked a ton of questions. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so crucial. Why? Because Jesus, okay, here's the point. Why is it normal and healthy, like in a classroom setting like this, or in college, or in school, when a teacher or professor says, does anybody have a question? Why is that a normal practice? Conversation. Okay. Why else is it normal for a teacher or professor to ask students a question? Like I'm asking right now. Make them think. Okay. Because the chances of one of the students totally not getting what the teacher is saying, there's going to be at least one. Am I correct? Yeah. And because the teacher gives the classroom that opportunity, if the student is brave enough, they're like, Mr. Belyshev, can you elaborate on that 2 plus 2 equals 28? I'm just using an example. X, Y, Z. Teacher, okay, good. It's normal because when we ask questions, we're going to learn why it's important for us to ask questions to receive. Let's continue. Whenever you ask a question, you posture yourself as a teachable person. As soon as you position yourself, I know it all, I studied the Bible, I can quote it to you back and forth, you're in trouble. You don't know it all. What you know right now, next season, you're going to be in a different season of your life. You're going to need to know something else. So when you ask questions, you're saying, I'm teachable. Lord, I'm going through this situation. I need your help. Can you help me and guide me? That's asking a question. And what does the Holy Spirit do? Gives you a thought. Gives you a Bible passage. Reminds you about a person. You're like, wait a minute, let me call this person. Where did that come from? Because you inquired, as David, to your Heavenly Father. And when you inquired to God, who's our Father, He responded. A thought, a dream, an idea, a TV commercial, anywhere and everywhere. Next point. It's a great honor whenever someone asks you a question, as they believe that you may be able to help them. That's an honor. If somebody's coming to a question, sometimes they're hard to answer, but nevertheless. If you are fearful, here's a thought. Think about this. If you are fearful or purposefully avoid or become ignorant to being confronted with tough questions, then you have a serious heart and ego issue and need to wholeheartedly reevaluate your leadership, ministry, and your relationship with others. Think about that. It's a very profound thought. That if you're fearful, you're ignorant, like, whatever, things will work out. We know that in the marriage, if one of the spouses is ignoring the other spouse when they want to have a serious conversation, it's just a matter of time until that other spouse explodes. Excuse me, you've been avoiding me for months. Or God forbid, that spouse is enough and you come home and there's that ring. You don't want to communicate with me because you were unwilling to resolve certain family issues and struggles. So it's very important. Next thought. Being challenged with tough questions is a great opportunity to connect with that individual or your team members. It is. Somebody mentioned that. Great opportunity. Hey, boss, we have a problem. Hey, pastor, oh, what is it? Well, this and this happened and that. Oh, wow, really? Oh, I didn't know about that. Well, what happened? Let's talk about it. Because we sometimes think that a person who's in a leadership position, they know it all, they oversee it all. No, they don't. We need one another to grow as one family, as one unit. Because the Apostle Paul says, if the leg or the arm is feeling pain, the rest of the body feels it. It's a spiritual principle. That's why as leaders, we need to be there supporting one another. And one of the ways is asking tough questions. Oh, where am I at? Oh, tough questions will allow you to see or to understand what you haven't seen or understood before. Very simple, very practical. Just as we are grateful for the tough questions that are filled throughout the pages of the Bible, in like manner, we need to be grateful for the tough questions that come our way, even if they are full of anger, criticism, and much frustration. This is something that's uncomfortable. I know you're the key person. It does not matter where, work, church, I'm coming to you. I'm angry. Come on, why is this not happening? Why is this happening? As a leader, you need to be open to receive. It does not matter. One employee will come to you, curse you out, and tell you left and right. The next one after that knocks on your door, you're like, okay, I got my boxing gloves right here. Comes the other. He's like, hey boss, you know what? I kind of noticed this problem. How can we do that? You're like, oh really? Well, we'll do this and do that. Same company, two different employees. Example. Oh, what was the year? 2010, I believe. A volcano exploded in Switzerland? One of those countries. And my wife and I were flying to Belarus at that time. And we had to stop, make a stop in Moscow airport. And to fly in, you could fly in, but because the ash spread so much, if you guys remember that, it's like Switzerland, Norway, one of those. Our flight, we had to fly around it an extra 2 hours. I think it was like a 12-hour flight. Oh my goodness. I must have walked that airplane so many times. I'm like, this is a long flight. It's like the year 2010, Switzerland and Norway, one of those things. So you could fly in to many airports, but many of the airports in Europe couldn't fly out because of that. So we had to stop in Moscow, then from Moscow go to Belarus. Wow, I felt I was participating in the 1990 crash of communism. I walk in the airport, I'm like, it's a war zone. I probably never heard so many cuss words in just a matter of a few hours. It was bad, but anyway. So we're standing in line to switch our airplanes, because what happened, our airplane got there late because we had to fly around and we missed the next flight. So we're standing in a long line, everybody's yelling, screaming, and I'm observing these passengers in front of us that are coming up to the teller and talking to them. Almost every one of them that would come up to the teller, they would just curse the teller out. Where's my ticket? And I don't need to go into details. And I'm like, and here's the interesting part. The passenger or the client would curse out the teller, and the teller would curse them out. I'm like, wow, I haven't seen that in a while, but here I kind of got used to the whole American culture. Oh, I'm sorry, can I get your water? They're like cursing each other out, and the manager's standing behind the teller, and the manager's supporting their employee, and then together they're cursing out the clients. My wife and I were still looking at each other like, wow, honey, we're almost next. We're done. But here's the interesting thing. It's our turn to come, and I'm like, honey, just be ready. They're going to give it to us. Like the turn. I smiled and said, hi. I said, we missed our flight. Here are tickets. How can we get another flight? I was quiet, peaceful, and just nice. It's like God entered the airport. She looked at us. Oh, wow, really? I'm sorry to hear that. Her tone, demeanor, everything changed. Boom, in a matter of minutes, she got us another tickets. And we're like looking at the situation like, I don't believe we're witnessing this. Just before us, They got cursed out. They cursed out everybody else. Here we are, be normal to them. As soon as we took our tickets and walked away, next clients. Your mom's this or this and that, and I'll start all over again. To me, it was a very powerful lesson that it works. When you're able to connect at a human level, you'll be able to pull out of that person a human being. And that's why when it comes to tough questions, that those people knew they couldn't deal with these clients, and those clients were asking them tough questions, they respond to them in their own language. That's why, guys, we need to learn how to be able to properly manage this. And Matthew reminds us with these words. When Jesus came into the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, "Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" Probably one of the greatest questions that Jesus asked his disciples. If you're trying to tell me that Jesus wasn't curious, he was very curious. Here they are going for their regular walk. Hey, boys, what do people say about me? Oh, you're the prophet. You're the Messiah. This, that. Oh, okay, cool. What do you guys say about me? And only Peter gave the truth.